Well, like I said, now you went off into a whole different subject, which is fine. Because like I could say to people, if you don't believe me that this could happen, if when everybody learns how easy it is to pay off the debt or not pay the debt, or how easy it is just to set it off. You could take a look at Cuba. Cuba was the second richest country in the Western Hemisphere. Now it's still the poorest country in the world because Castro figured it out. I said to myself when I figured it out, I said, there must be some place in history that some man has figured this out before. And then I looked at Cuba and Castro, and he eliminated all the debt. There was no more usury fee. They weren't allowed to collect, if you just say, I'll pay you whatever I can pay you when I can pay you. And there was nothing you could do about it. There's nothing that you could say like the bankers could do about it. So the bankers left Cuba. And they said, well, we're not going to make any money here, and nobody's going to pay on their loans. Oh, well, you're going to pay me a penny for the next 1,000 years? No, that's ridiculous. So they left. They just closed up shop and they left. And everybody thought he was a hero for the first couple of years. Castro was awesome because he eliminated all the debt. He got rid of all the loans. He got rid of all the mortgages. And then when the people realized a year or two after that they couldn't get a new car, they couldn't get parts coming in from another part of the world, they couldn't get loans, they couldn't get money. Nobody wanted Cuban money. They wanted U.S. dollars, and they realized they didn't have access to the dollars anymore. The country collapsed, and everybody then wanted to kill Castro, and then Castro had to wind up killing the people who wanted to kill him. So like I said, if people start learning how to get everything for free and not having to pay on debts or pay their bills, eventually the banks will just say, you know what, we don't need this anymore. You know what, we'll just go over and deal with India and China. There's 4 billion people over there. We'll go over there. We don't need 300 million people. We'll go someplace else. We won't deal with normal people anymore. We'll just deal with business corporations. Like when credit cards first came out in the 70s, you had to be a corporation to get a credit card. They didn't hand it out to private individuals.
Well, I remember that. Yeah. I remember the credit card thing. If you worked for a corporation, it was such a big thing in order to be able to put on your gas. Yeah. But boy, I tell you, I was actually cleaning up as a teenager at these gas stations and stuff. And when someone first started coming in with those credit cards, it caused chaos. If you think, your credit card not sliding at the cashier today is a big issue. Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, there's people that was getting, $150 worth of gas going to pay for it, and they didn't even have a machine in order to use it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't remember what you're talking about with those swiping a piece of plastic, a piece of paper. But no, the big thing I'm talking about is they didn't trust normal people to give them credit cards because, they wouldn't pay it back. But it's a wonderful system to have people buying things on credit because somebody like me, I've never even applied for a credit card in my life, even though I know how to manipulate the system. I just know better to not get a credit card because I would probably, I know I would come up with an excuse why I couldn't pay it back this month. It's like, well, I got more pressing things to pay for. Well, I could give it, more money to taking care of the animals. Oh, well, and I'd never pay it back, but I'd have a perfect credit score. I'd have a perfect credit rating because I know how to manipulate the system. I know how to, contact my creditors and how to set everything off. So it's a very dangerous concept to teach just everybody how to do something like this. But yeah, so what I try to concentrate on is helping people get in and out of court, especially when they're charged with quasi-crimes. There's no victim, there's no damage.
Perfect exit for that topic because that's something else I'd like to talk about. The quasi-crimes that they have stacked against Trump. Colorado just declaring without any trial at all that he was guilty, things like that. How is it that these things are happening, and what is your take on the current election? Do you think that these shenanigans that they're playing with our laws are going to work out for them in the long run?
Well, you could say with the quasi-crimes, Trump's attorneys are never going to just ask a simple question like Trump could actually ask as the man. Instead of sitting there like a silly defendant, he could ask the simple question. Is how you committed a crime? Yes, okay, one of the essential elements of a crime, there must be a victim. Who is the victim? Who's the victim of anything that I have done or failed to do? Who's the victim? You got to give me the opportunity to cure. You got to give me the opportunity to settle this with the man that I've caused harm to. So who's the man that you're saying I've caused harm to? And then the man who says he's the victim, he has to explain how he is a victim of what I did or failed to do. What did I do?
So even if in the scenario that let's say he was responsible for some part of that insurrection, they still have to show a connection between the damage done by that insurrection and directly attach that to Trump. I don't think there is any.
He'd have to say, they'd have to say there was $10 million worth of damage, and then who would make the claim that there was $10 million worth of damage? Say the United States.
How would you determine the amount?
Well, like I say the Department of Interior is in charge of those buildings, and they said, overall it was $10 million worth of glass.
Okay, I got you.
We had to, right.
Yeah.
So then what he would have to say, what they'd have to say is that they could sue him for the damage, and say, that he actually caused some sort of a damage because of what he did or failed to do. And so, like I said, so when you make a claim for the damages like that, then they'd have to say it was somebody else other than the Department of Interior. Say it was a bank, and you threw a rock through the window. Some of these insurrection kids would throw rocks through the windows. And just the bank would say that, okay, this kid caused $500 worth of damage. And it's like, okay, so I caused $500 worth of damage. So that's how much it costs to replace the glass? Yes. Did you pay the $500, or did you have an insurance company come here and pay for the damage? Oh, the insurance company came and paid for the damage. Oh, okay, so you have no standing. The insurance company would have the loss. You didn't have the loss. You paid for insurance, don't you? Yes, okay. So the insurance company has the right to stand in court and make a claim for the compensation. So where's the insurance company? The bank would have no standing just because you threw a rock through the window. Did they take it out of their pocket and pay for the damage? No. So like I said, it would have to be somebody from the Department of the Interior, whoever maintains those buildings. So as far as I know, those buildings should be rented out. They could be leased, to some holding company for all we know nowadays. Almost every government building is a rental building. Almost every government building is owned by a private entity, and they just lease it out because it's cheaper. It's cheaper for the governmental entities just to lease these buildings and let somebody else do the security, the maintenance, the
maintenance is killer. I'll admit that.
Maintenance.
I admit
Yeah,
that.
so
I've
let
been in
somebody else
maintenance
worry
all
about
my
it.
life. Yeah, because I mean that's what's going to take away from your profit. Period. It doesn't matter how big the building is or how much rent you're getting. The fact is, it's multiplied by that many times maintenance as well.